So I got the itch to work on the Nova, and so let me update. I wanted to put a filter on there because I do turn on the car every once in a while to get it nice and lubricated, you know, warm it up, just to keep the engine nice and lubed. And I bought a filter, a red one, and this is a washable filter. And then I took the original setup that came with the engine and I painted the top half with my Trek bed coating, and then the bottom half I just cleaned up really nicely. And that's just temporary. I actually want the chrome setup that says Chevrolet right here, and it matches these chrome valve covers. It's going to look exactly like that, and so that's the one I want on there. And then I'm also going to get the Chevrolet emblem to go on the top. So the itch that I had was to work on a Nova, so I decided that I'm going to buy this fan shroud because I didn't like the fact that originally when I got the car it didn't have a shroud, and without the shroud air travels in the path of least resistance, and what would happen is air from all over would just basically circulate. So now with the shroud in place, air is being pulled from the fan or with the fan, and so the air has no choice but to go through the radiator and out the shroud. So this shroud is a big block Camaro shroud, and obviously I have to make it work. Now it fits perfectly. I mean, it just fits, it fits really nice. So I know that it works, and I need to now put the cover that goes here. Now this car came with the heavy-duty radiator system, but strangely enough, the plate that goes on here, the radiator support, the radiator support panel that goes on top of here, though it is the factory one, it was modified from the factory. And you can see here they added a plate, and I guess, you know, welded it together to make this longer, to make it much longer. Now let me show you what it looked like, and I'm gonna attach a picture right about now. Okay, so you saw the picture, and basically you saw that it was something like this. Where's that other piece? I don't know where the other piece is, but anyway, basically you get the idea. It was like that. So what I did was I cut this off because I don't need it, and then it had an area here that protruded, so I cut that off too. And so now what I aim to do is, and you can see the supports for the radiator, which is why I need this panel, and basically it'll just go on like this, and it would hold the radiator in place. Now the plan is to make or remake this so that it flows with the new shroud, and let me show you what the plan is, and let me get it all situated, and then I'll get to work on that. Okay, so that's basically how I want it set up. Now I need this support panel to be able to hold the radiator in place, because this radiator does not have, on the big block models like the 69 Nova, 70 Nova, the radiator had a support metal piece on either side of the radiator which bolted onto the radiator support. But in my case, this radiator does not have that. So what the factory did, which I'm assuming is the factory because this just looks too original to be done by somebody, the factory elongated this to accommodate the larger 23-inch core, and at the same time hold the radiator in place just like the small block and the regular standard radiators. So the rubber that's here has to be in place to be able to hold the radiator from moving back and forth. So I need this, and you can see the holes line up, and so You see there, you can see the hole. So I need this panel. So now I was thinking and thinking, and I needed to figure out a way to do this, so I decided to make a template of the rounded area here. And so that's my template there. And the idea is that I'm going to make a piece of steel cut out to have this shape, and it will go in line. Let me get the light. It will go in line with this shroud line, and then go across here, and then continue on this line here. And I will weld it onto the panel. So this new plate is going to be on top of this plastic and on top of this. And then I'm going to weld it all together. And this, since it's all flimsy, it comes with a bracket, so from the Camaros, and the bracket is supposed to go under here and then attached to the Camaro's radiator support. Now obviously this doesn't work, so I'm gonna have to improvise. So the plan is, when I have this metal that goes across here, I'm gonna use the existing hole and just drill another hole and just go straight down. Now when I bought all these parts, it came with all of the hardware for attaching this shroud onto the Camaros. So I'm going to use this hardware and adapt it to my new plate. And then of course this metal here would be on the bottom, this would be in the middle, and then my new plate would be on top. And I'm going to weld it all together, but at the same time allow it to be able to dismantle in the event that I need to take the shroud off in the future. So the plan is that after I do all of that, I'm going to, after doing the welding, I'm going to do body work onto this plate to smooth it out, and then paint it the same color as the radiator support. So that's the plan, and we'll see how that goes. So I made that template here. Here's another template I made, which is a little bit more stiff. So basically it'll go like this. You see, it'll line up, and it's gonna be a long piece. So I got this long piece of cardboard to simulate how it's gonna line up with the body line of the, not the body line, but the shroud line. And the way it's gonna look is it's gonna be red, and then the shroud's gonna be black, so that it'll match nicely with my scheme if I can get it to work. So that's the plan, and let's see if it happens. I don't know, it's gonna definitely be a lot of work, but I really want to be able to do something. Now I went and bought a chrome piece for the Camaros. They had, you know, the Camaros that had the heavy duty radiator support, but it doesn't work because the holes don't line up. So I got this actually for free because there was a defect on there. Where's the defect? There right there, there's a defect, and the fact that it was bent here, you can see. So they returned my money and they let me have it. So I got it for free, so I'm not really worried about you know, not being able to use it. I would have liked chrome, but in this case I am stuck with making something because the standard one doesn't work. It's too small for this radiator, and the heavy duty one doesn't work because it's too long and the bolts don't line up. So I'm forced to use the stock version that was modified, and now I got to do some modification. So hopefully that will get me you know, going, and we'll see how that turns out.